Apologize for a little delay due to some technical matters. We are going to start the event shortly. Welcome to HR Gathering, Reinvent HR Leadership in the Time of Crisis, a collaboration event from EuroCham with Prudential Indonesia. We are going to start the event shortly. Good morning, Bapak, Ibu, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to HR Gathering, Reinvent HR Leadership in the Time of Crisis, a collaboration event from EuroCham with Prudential Indonesia to explore how the COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced the urgency to transform the health and wellness protection for employees and how the changing landscape has encouraged leaders in companies, including CEOs and HR directors, to remain agile and digitally prepared. My name is Dwi Cahening Tias from EuroCham Indonesia, and I will be the MC today. Thank you for taking the time of your busy schedule. We have here with us this morning Bapak Jens Reis, President Director Prudential Indonesia, Bapak Nick Holder, EuroCham Executive Board Member and CFO of Prudential Indonesia, and Bapak Rhenald Kasali, Professor from the Faculty of Economy, University of Indonesia, and founder of Rumah Perubahan. Before we begin, I would like to inform that by joining this webinar, you will get a free premium coverage includes death due to accidents, 100 million rupiah, total permanent disabilities up to 100 million rupiah, reimbursement of medical expenses due to accident of up to 10 million per accident, and death due to COVID-19 during period 2020 for 25 million. And along with the webinar session, you can submit your question to the provided Q&A button on your screen. The moderator will revisit your question to be answered during the session. Without further ado, let's have Bapak Jens Reis to give opening remarks. Bapak, the screen is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Putri, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And first and foremost, a very warm welcome as well. Thank you for joining the event, and I hope that all of you are in a good health, good spirit, and so far maneuvering best possible through this challenging time with COVID and the way we manage our lives, businesses, families, and so on. Thank you, Putri, and thank you to the EuroCham for organizing and arranging, I think, this webinar. I guess the topic is very relevant for all of us, and I'm thankful I do not see him yet, but I think he will join in a short while, that also Professor Rhenald Kasali will join us. I think to those, I think, who may know him, he is, of course, the founder of Rumah Perubahan, but he's also, let's say, a very leading academic, but also, let's say, at the moment, the President Commissioner of Telkom. He's also, I think, the independent commissioner from us in Prudential. Terima kasih, and warm welcome also to Professor Rhenald. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us this morning. And I think he has written many books, and I think is a very interesting personality and resource to talk to, I think, for all of us. And the second, maybe I just want to say also to my colleague, Mr. Nick Holder, who is also joining here, who is our CFO, but also, let's say, leading our PRUWorks solutions for Prudential. Thanks, Nick, and for joining, and to all of you this morning. I just want to take maybe a few minutes only to set the stage around the topic of reinventing leadership in this time of crisis, and just maybe give a little bit of sharing also on what Prudential has done and experienced. So maybe with the first slide, I would like just to say that we are now 25 years in Indonesia. I don't know who controls the slide, but can you, oh yeah, thank you so much. So just a little bit an update on Prudential. Next slide, please. I think we basically are now 25 years in Indonesia. Of course, Prudential is a very old and established company with more than 170 years of experience worldwide. But I think just last week, on the 2nd of November, we celebrated and commemorated our birthday, so to say, in Indonesia. We are now basically the market leader since more than 10 years. And you see our purpose from Prudential Group throughout this world is basically helping people get most out of life. And we are doing this, I think, by constantly, of course, engaging with customers, but also with communities, with our stakeholders, to listen, to understand, and to also deliver on what is needed regarding making people's peace of mind for their life, for their business, best possible. Especially for Indonesia, we have formulated our aspiration to make Indonesians healthier and wealthier. Not only this pandemic shows the importance, but generally the life expectancy, also the well-being of Indonesians. If you compare it to some of the Asian neighboring countries, the life expectancy is still around 5 years below Thailand, 5 years below Vietnam. And I think we have this ambition, I think, not only as an insurance company, but also, let's say, as a community, to make sure that well-being prevails and can be expanded, and life expectancy of all Indonesians, I think, can be improved. Next slide. I think in this pandemic, and I think the topic is, of course, reinventing basically HR leadership in Prudential, like in most companies, I guess, where you come from, also which the companies you manage, especially the HR leaders community, but also the business community. The first case I still recall was on the 1st of March, confirmed in the newspapers of COVID in Indonesia. And I think in Prudential, like I guess the same for you, the first and foremost was the safety of our staff, the safety of agents, on how we can basically manage our business and serving customers in a safe way, but also, let's say, in an undisrupted way. And after 2 weeks, basically, achieved, so to say, readiness from home, but we have 270,000 agents in 160 cities, how to make sure that they can function with customers, with communities in a safe way, in a non-face-to-face way. Fortunately, I think like probably many other businesses here as well who are joining, we have been already on a path of the digital journey, and I think our business was, I would say, maybe ready to be instant. Like in Indonesia, I always make this example with instant noodles. All Indonesians like to have the food now. So we actually had this readiness that we can deliver our services instantly, but we had to work quite a bit to make sure that we can now work from home and that we can now work in a safe way, non-face-to-face. And I just want to highlight, like also most companies, of course, we try to support Indonesia. We try to support businesses, families, communities in this time. We are covering basically a large part of the medical volunteers in Wisma Atlet Kemayan for the COVID-19 facility there. And I'm very actually happy, not only that we cover the claims, I think that's probably a given as an insurance company for COVID, but we have, I think, so far almost 500,000 people covered through actually a digital way, free of charge for COVID-19, basically with a free hospital cash plan through a pulse activation in all islands wherever you are. So we provided basically this access to communities to be actually covered, and I think provided, let's say, tests, also fundraising, and making sure that we are future ready. And I think this whole journey of way of working, I'm sure we will hear later a little bit more from Professor Rhenald Kasali, who I think also is a very, very interesting sparring partner in getting actually managements and the C-levels and HR community, I think, engaged, and I think thought about on what needs to change in the way of working, in the way of leading workforce and the business in a safe way. I think physical health, mental health are key issues at the moment. We are also, of course, driving in Prudential. Next. I think what we are very proud about is Pulse. In fact, this afternoon we have a very big press conference again for our large relaunch of the new version of Pulse. This is basically an all-in digital AI-powered app. It's basically at the moment largely towards health services. So with this, we provide this free of charge to all Indonesians for their health and well-being, whether it's a symptom checker through Babylon, whether it's Halodoc, a partner of us where we provide teleconsultation, but also telemedicine in Indonesia. We have hospital finders, and we actually have new community features around food, diet, healthy living. And this is basically our commitment as Prudential to Indonesia, but also actually to the world. I think this Pulse is a global rollout for Prudential, and we really hope and wish that this is part of our aspiration, making Indonesians healthier and also eventually wealthier. We have our services and we have partners. So we are teaming up with many of the digital partners like Tokopedia, Ofo, Halodoc, or Babylon I mentioned, and maybe also many more in the future to have lifestyle, health, and wealth under one app 24/7 throughout Indonesia. So accessible for everyone and all communities in Indonesia. Next. And I think probably Nick can later on share a little bit further. This is actually the business we started now. We are in year 2, and maybe we are calling it PRUWorks. It's so to say the employee benefit and how we support as Prudential small, medium-sized businesses, but also large enterprises, all the workforce, their families. And since we are basically like a little bit of a late starter in that business, I can say we could learn a lot. We could learn, I think, from the market. We could learn on our own needs and what we have seen. Maybe the next slide, I just want to share PRUWorks is, so to say, our new solution offering for all businesses, for companies, for the communities. It's, I think, the first we can say really paperless or fully digital employee benefit service we are providing. The employee basically has an app, the HR community and team has an app, and we, as low as 5 employees, I think it's one of the smallest number in Indonesia, we are trying to reach basically many of the millions of small, medium-sized business throughout the archipelago, and also making it easy. So I think it's a comprehensive benefit, but it's a pick and choose model what is relevant for which business and for what benefits and what services. We make cashless with a big network of almost 2,000 hospitals in Indonesia, offering basically an easy access and e-claim submission to basically make it easy for employees and their families to get treatment and to get care. And also, I think, to get access around coverage, around communication, engagement, and also the easy submission for claims. So in the moment of truth, to be basically here and support the staff or the family best possible. So I think Pulse, I highlighted, so we feel basically that is a good offering and maybe a relevant offering, a part of, let's say, making the business ready. It's important, I think, in today's sessions to also making sure that our people are ready mentally, physically, well supported. And I think more than ever, not only because of COVID, but of course, it triggered a lot of awareness for making sure that people are well taken care of and the well-being and safety is most important. This is maybe my just intro. Again, thank you on behalf of Prudential for joining this morning, and thank you for this session later on, Professor Rhenald. Terima kasih banyak juga for the sharing, and I think Nick will also later on be engaged. Thanks so very much. Terima kasih. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Jens, for the opening remarks. Now, I would like to introduce our moderator for today's webinars, Bapak Nick Holder. Bapak Nick Holder is currently the Chief Financial Officer of Prudential Indonesia and a member of Prudential Indonesia's Board of Directors. He joined Prudential in 2002 and has worked for Prudential Group in 6 countries, including the UK, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Bapak Nick, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dwi, for your introduction, and thank you also, Jens, for your opening remarks. Just highlight a few points from those remarks just for the audience. So the first thing, of course, is COVID-19. I think, to my mind, it's a one-in-a-century type of event. It's obviously affected everything that we do in business in Indonesia. It's obviously presenting a wide range of challenge, but what we need to think about is, are there also opportunities there? Are there measures we can take that will actually improve our position in the long run as a result of the COVID situation? For companies, perhaps, that comes by offering breakthrough products and services as well as innovative solutions to customers, quite possibly involving new and digital methods. For HR leaders, for the heads of people in the companies and for the general managers who rely on their teams to deliver their work, this is an opportunity to look at workforce resilience in these unprecedented situations. Are there different ways of doing it? Are there ways of making staff feel more comfortable and making sure that their staff can continue to be productive and deliver the business change that's needed to be successful in these times? With the current situation, health and well-being, financial stability and job security are all concerns for employees right now, and leaders in companies can help to address these fears by showing commitment and support to their employees, of course. Now, it's time to move on in our agenda, and I'd like to introduce our main speaker, who I think will be with us any moment now. Our main speaker is Babak or Professor Rhenald Kasali. He'll be delivering a presentation on the topic, Reinventing HR Leadership in the Time of Crisis. I'd like to briefly give you the professor's bio. He's a professor from the Faculty of Economics in the University of Indonesia. As you heard from Jens, he's the founder of Rumah Perubahan. He's the author of a well-known series of management books, namely Disruption, Reinventing, Change Leadership, and many more. He's also a member of the Board of Commissioners for Prudential Indonesia. So he's a man with many feathers in his hat, and we're very lucky to have him here today talking about his core expertise around change and agility in difficult times. Professor, can I hand over to you now? I think you wanted to show a video as the introduction.
Hi, morning, Nick. How are you?
Well, thanks. It's good to see you, Professor.
Yeah. Pak Jens, morning.
Good morning, Prof. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you are all fine and doing well today. Yeah. So before we start to discuss about agility, let me show you the video about what is happening in the last decade that's related each other. So we will know where do we are now. Yeah. So it is related everything. Yeah. Connecting from the end of the Third World War. Most of people think that the World War is only, we have only two World War, yeah, World War I and the World War II. In fact, we have already four World War. Maybe now we are in the fifth World War. The first one, you know what's happening, only for 5 to 6 years, the same like the Second World War. But the third one is the Cold War, ending in the year of 1989, and then globalization happening. And then later on, we face the war on terrorism for the World War of the Fourth World War. Yeah, but then because of the technology, because of the globalization, you know, the technology always make it everything cheaper, faster, more efficient. Yeah, and targeting creating new market. Yeah, innovation always creating new market, especially the disruptions. And then what's happening with the pandemic? Pandemic come because of of course, one of them is digital disruptions. When it creates cheaper transportation costs, cheaper delivery costs, cheaper hotel, tourism, airlines, and some other things. Yeah, the service is cheaper, and then people is easier to move from one place to the other place. They are not only bring themselves, but also bring the problems to the other places. Yeah, so it's related each other. Yeah, so let me show you this short video. The text is in Bahasa.
Listening to the wind of change. Another summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change. The world is closing in, and did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, feel it everywhere, and blowing with the wind of change. Change. one night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change. The world is closing in, and did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, feel it everywhere, and blowing with the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on the glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change.
Jangan salahkan saya. Saya kemarin posting di Instagram. Saya bilang gini, wah berita bahagia. WHO mengatakan orang tanpa gejala tidak menular. Sejam kemudian saya hapus gara-gara berita barunya keluar, ternyata WHO menarik ucapan tersebut. Gimana coba? Orang pusing.
Berarti WHO-nya bingung.
Yeah, that is The Wind of Change by Scorpion. But Jens, I think you know about this one, right? Because you are from Germany, and it was so famous in the year of 91, yeah, when the group band of the Germany group band created this song. They were in Russia at the time, in Moscow. They saw the change, what's happening with the Berlin Wall there in of the year 1989. And later on, they saw the change happening in Russia for the year 1991. Later on, you know, the world leader worked together. They know they cannot solve the problem alone. They need to work together, yeah? And then in the year of a couple years ago, come Donald Trump, and he want to make America great again alone. Maybe, maybe he want to make it alone. Yeah. So it's difficult. We have to face the pandemic all together. We cannot solve it alone. Yeah. We have to solve the pandemic together. We have to innovate everything together. We have to develop technology all together. Yeah. Along with other nations, other people from different countries, different experts, experts from different countries. Yeah, we have to work together. Yeah, that's what's happening. So agility is very important. The topic that Nick will ask me, maybe with some more questions, I think that's very important. Yeah, but before, maybe the one more slide here. When we talk about agility, we also always compare with the rigidity. Yeah. You know that when the business already been for about more than 5 years, yeah, at the beginning, every company is always entrepreneurial. But later on, yeah, when the company becoming older and older and older, and then it become complex, you face complexity, and the management, the rule, the operating procedures in each company become rigid. Yeah, so there are two things happening. On one side, that people face complexity, but in order to compete, we need to simplify. Yeah, that we need agility rather than rigidity. So that's why agility, the topic of agility, now becoming more important. Nick.
Okay, thank you very much for that video and the additional information around rigidity versus agility. In fact, the first question I wanted to ask you, Professor, was about agility. It's a phrase that we hear a lot in current times.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how much has the crisis helped to promote the agenda for agility? And also, is agility something that all companies can adopt, or is it something that really only applies to larger companies? Can SME companies, for example, adopt agile approaches?
Yeah, well, actually, like I mentioned before, when we just create a company, the company just born, the entrepreneur was there. the founder was there. So it's easy to manage, easy to manage because everyone is there. Yeah, but then you face rigidity. It's not only personal rigidity, regulation from the government, space rigidity, and a lot of things. Yeah, including the culture of rigidity and some other things. But then you can see here, yeah, we can. There are several kind of companies. For small company like this one, yeah, small company, the traditional company, you don't develop the technology. You just only doing trading, selling, maybe manufacturing of small things, yeah, easy products that you create or services, yeah, with the degree of digitalization very small here, yeah, and your company is still small. Traditional company is actually agile company. But then, you know, the young people create a startup. They create startup with the new way of technology. Yeah, mostly they are new, but if they can, if they succeed, they can be a unicorn. Yeah, a unicorn supporting by the financial infrastructure, the financial investor, yeah, new investor want to support them, yeah. The same like digital company with the ecosystem, the old one, the big one, yeah, can be transformed here, yeah. But usually when you become, you are successful, yeah, and then you are moving from small company to be medium-sized company and then big company. But then when you are becoming a big company, you will face rigidity because a lot of red tapes here, yeah. But for some, because of the traditional operating model and the business model, you are trapped by the sunk costs. A lot of capital expenditure, and then a lot of buildings, machinery, the old one, and then you are trapped by the sunk costs, yeah. This is different with the startup with the new technology. Actually, the new technology is easier to manage because it helped by data technology, not only data that used in the past like we studied in the past, that is statistics, but they are helped by the data science, consists of data technology as well as statistics, mathematics, and machine learning. Something like this one, you can see this one, yeah. The operating model of the startup, yeah, and then if we become, say that they are growing bigger and bigger and bigger to be a unicorn, they usually manage in a new ecosystem, something like this one. You know that we have everything, we put everything in your smartphone. Then in your smartphone, you have super apps. Yeah, super apps is here. Yeah, like we have Babylon here. Yeah, HaloDoc, Google, YouTube, everything. Super apps is here. Yeah, and then it is connected, helped by PT Telkom, the broadband network. Yeah, the fiber optics, satellites, and some other things. Yeah, and the data is not storage in your server anymore, but in data center, in cloud. So the cloud is so flexible, yeah, the size is so flexible and shared by others, but still control the technology, yeah. And then you get the data by using big data and artificial intelligence. By artificial intelligence mean that we are helped, yeah, by the new technology that simplify our work. Now, human intelligence is about challenged by the artificial intelligence. Yeah, artificial intelligence actually working faster, safer, yeah, and cheaper, and they can do complex things actually. And finally, everything is every single items, yeah, now is going to have the so-called Internet of Things. People put sensor in every single items. So it makes the home to be smart home, the factory to be smart factory, the machine to be smart machine. Yeah, the city becomes smart city, and your shirt becoming smart shirt, and some other things. Yeah, by Internet of Things, because they put the chips there. Yeah, the microchips, and then people easily to mobilize and orchestrate it. Yeah. When you see this one, you see that the business model has changed. The business model has changed. That makes the scope and the size, yeah, the speed is faster than before, and they don't need um, the hardware anymore. They use flexible infrastructure, and also rather than the capital expenditure, they spend in operating expenditure. Yeah, by using this kind of elements all together. The interaction among these things make the newcomers become easier to manage their company, especially for the startup, something like this one. Yeah. So the startup, by using hashtag MO, mobilization and orchestration, by using the operating expenditure, yeah, they can be the largest company in the world without any single assets. They just operate people's people resources. Yeah, they just orchestrate it. Yeah, the sharing resources. Okay, and then if they succeed here, they can go to unicorn and then become unicorn. What's happening with the old company, the previous company? We can only survive if we transform the company to be agile company like this one, the big company, because big similar to complexities, similar to sometimes, yeah, if you don't have good leadership, you don't have good technology, if you are trapped in old way of doing business, yeah, especially when the founder becoming old and the manager also becoming older, yeah, and then they are happy with the old kind of management, yeah, and then they become bureaucracy and red tapes. So they can only succeed, yeah, if they transform the company to be agile company. Yeah. So that's why agility is very important, Panik.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Professor. I guess one of the challenges many businesses face in Indonesia at the moment, and yesterday, I was lucky enough to present the EuroCham Business Confidence Index, was that the COVID environment is putting a lot of pressure on their revenues, a lot of pressure on their profitability. Is there any proven relationship between adopting an agile approach at work and a company with a strong revenue growth?
Yeah. Well, actually, now we face double disruptions, not only single disruptions. Yeah. The first one is the digital technology disruptions, and the second one is the pandemic. And so actually, pandemic is a kind of enforcement, yeah, in order to become more agile. Yeah. Okay, let me show you the data here. Okay, yeah, that one, number 7. Yeah. Okay, these quotes come from the McKinsey company, the consulting company. It says that many organizations are racing to become agile. And based on their new research, it shows that agile transformation can have powerful impact on the bottom line, according to their study. Yeah, so this is the data. Let me show you this one. Yeah, collecting data from many companies, finally they resize on the they focus on the only 22 companies in 6 sectors, and they found that agility has an impact on the customer satisfactions by 10 to 30 points. Yeah, And then they also have an impact on employee engagement, yeah, by 20 to 30 points. Okay. And they have also impact on operation performance by 30% to 50% improvement. Okay. And then the last one is financial performance. Yeah. On the financial performance, the improvement is 20 to 30 points actually. Yeah. So by showing this data, McKinsey want to show us that how important is agility. Of course, agility is not the single factors. Yeah. There are some other things, including leadership and some other things. Yeah. But in these three areas, customer satisfaction, employee engagement, and operational performance, like we mentioned before, yeah, they have this in 6 industry, yeah, financial institutions, telecommunications, mining, oil and gas, advanced industries, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, and public sectors here, yeah, 6 sectors, yeah. And how do they impact? Yeah, and what is the financial impact on the financial performance here? Yeah, at least they can reduce the cost and make it more efficient in operational expenditure. Yeah, mostly on the reduction cost here. Yeah, and also impact on the employee productivity, time to market, and some other things here. You can see the impact and also the engagement here, yeah, related to health survey, yes, and some other things, and employee satisfactions, and many more about customer satisfaction. The customer is happier when the company can respond faster. Yeah? You know that today we compete to other company that incorporate the digitalization, yeah, like in response to complaint, respond to questions, yeah. Most company already replaced the contact center from human to be artificial intelligence. So there are some automation by doing by creating automation there. The machine will answer automatically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, yeah, and they can communicate, yeah. It's so funny that machine can communicate with human, and human, yeah, based on the study that we found that human is most people don't know that they communicate with machine. Actually, it is machine, but the machine has its name like Jema, Jana, Janie, and some mostly women, Pak Jens, yeah. I don't know why women. Yeah, maybe people are. I mean, the customers having more trust on women rather than us men. Yeah. So when they talk with Jana, Janie, and some women's name, and they feel happier. And then they want to share their data actually, yeah. Where do they live and why do they complain about that? What's happening? How your age and some other thing. They want to share the more important information that company can target it easily to solve customers' problem.
Okay, some very convincing data there. Professor, I'm going to ask you in a minute, how do companies create digital leaders and how do they create agile organizations, agile leaders, agile organizations? Just before that, I'd just like to ask all the participants, if you have any questions, do please type them into the box. We'll have a little bit of time for question and answers in a moment. So do please, if you have any burning thoughts or any queries you'd like to ask and get an opinion on, do please share them. But Professor, it's very convincing the case for agile organizations and agile leaders. How do companies go about becoming agile?
Yeah, let me show you these things. Yeah, you're right that agile company is different from digital company. That's true. But digitalization help us to become more agile because the principle of the technology that makes that can solve a lot of complex things. Yeah, but at least there are 3 basic elements in organization. There are three basic elements of organizational agility. Yeah, the first one is understanding. Yes, that the machine can implement the things that we want to create. Yeah, but the leader need to have a strong understanding about the condition, strong understanding about the market, strategy, the conditions, macroeconomy, yeah, your financial conditions, yeah, and some other things, yeah, including the complexity of your products. Yeah, but then you, in order to transform, to translate your understanding, you need to put it on a plan. Yeah, so understanding, ideas, vision, everything is here. It need to be very clear, and then you need to put everything on your plan, and then there's some implementations here. Yeah, so agile company, usually, how do we create it? We need to create, first of all, we need to put it on the three elements that we mentioned before. Yeah, understanding, planning, and implementation. So you can see here, this is the champion, the so-called agile company here. Yeah, bisa nggak ini dinaikin? Yeah. So agile company, the champions, yeah, usually having all these three things in balance. Yeah, understanding, very strong understanding, strong planning, and also strong implementation. You need to align all these three things. Yeah, if you say, for example, don't have a good leader, don't have a good understanding about what's happening outside, what's happening inside the company, and then you fail plan everything in order to face the new realities, and then you only implement it, then you will not succeed. Yeah, so you need to have all these three in balance. Yeah, when one of them failed, it could be failed. Yeah, so it's very important, all these three things all together, working together. You are good in understanding, having a clear picture. Yeah, and then you communicate clearly to your people, and then put it in a piece of paper so people can understand what you think. Yeah, and then you have good people in implement your plan. Yeah, by supporting of the technology, of the artificial intelligence, of the new ecosystem. Yeah, the new system. Yeah, and then you become align all these things together, because when one is failed, yeah, say that the other things can give information to the system. Say that whenever you are good in everything, yeah, you are good in everything, but you fail in implementation. Yeah, this is not an agile company. The same like this one. If you are good in implementation, very good of doing everything, doing very fast, but you don't know where are we going to. You don't know what's happening. Yeah, it is not considered as an agile company. Agile company actually need to be in balance between understanding, planning, as well as implementation.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I'd like to move on now to talk about people. So obviously agility is both a response to change, and it creates change in itself. And sometimes, not everyone, depending on the circumstances, and particularly in these special COVID times, not everyone's going to feel comfortable with that high degree of transformation. What can companies do to improve their employees' resilience in these changing times? What can they do even to improve productivity and improve retention whilst the world is changing around them?
Yeah, I think transformation is a must, especially for a company that is that already been there for more than 5 years. Yeah, we operate in old ways of doing business. Yeah, actually, everyone is facing three time zones. the past, the present, and the future. Yeah, the past, the present, and the future. Yeah, let me show you the diagram. Something like I will show you later on about this one, but at least that we know that we are the product of the past. Every one of us is product of the past. We studied 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and some people maybe get the they go to school, they get to school maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Yeah, suddenly the technology changed, the science changed. I mean, not change, but we use new technology, new way of doing business. Yeah, but we still operate in the old ways of doing things. Yeah, so everyone face this kind of 3 time zones. We face 3 time zones. Yeah, the past, the present, as well as the future. This one. Yeah, but if you do something here in the present by using the old ways of doing things, old ways of technology, old ways of standard operating procedures, value creation, yeah, you cannot survive. Because why? Because you compete with someone that bring the future to today. So that's why 3 years ago, I published a book with the title "Tomorrow is Today." When young people bring tomorrow to today, yeah. So, okay. So we have 3 time zones like this one, yeah. The past, the present, and the future. Yeah. Yeah. You can see that. Okay. Yeah. This is the past. Yeah. This is this method is good. Is fit with management. Maybe till the year of 2017. Yeah. But then become starting from the year of 2017 till now, maybe till tomorrow, yeah, we have to bring in the future. For some people, they are trapped in the past, trapped by old ways of doing business, old ways of management, old ways of communication. You can see now that's how the social media replaced the mass media that we know. Yeah, the social media with the impact of high frequency, high reach, also cheaper, well targeted, supported by data, and some other things. Yeah, but some people still living here in the past. Yeah, but then the young people, young generation, bring in something that should be in the future, but they bring the new technology. Yeah, to today. That's why collaboration is very important. So at least there are several things, at least maybe 5 things need to be considered by us who are bringing the past to today. Yeah, the first one, we need to transform our mindset by using the current way of thinking. Yeah, so the first one is transform the mindset. The second one is renewing our skill, yeah, by creating the future skills, new skills to our people. What is the new skills? The new skills is mostly about something that related to new technology, the so-called digital technology, digital skill or digital talent. Because like doctor, yeah, even doctor, now they operate, they do the surgery different than before. In the past, yeah, I remember when my wife was giving birth, say that 25 years ago, the doctor bring knife, yeah, but today they use technology. Yeah, they use digital technology. The same in any other surgery. Mostly they use digital technology. Even doctors do that. Even professors do using the technology. Yeah. So everything's now the technology has changed. So we have to reskill, do the reskilling. Yeah. So the first one is transform the mindset, and the second one is the skill. Yeah. And the third one is transform the way we do our business, especially in operating model. Yeah. By doing the new kind of operating model, yeah, we actually need to work along with the ecosystem. In the past, we managed the value chain, the so-called value chain, the supply chain, yeah, input, process, and output. Do you have the one from Faris? Yeah. I can show you one in one slide about the difference between the old operating model with the new operating model. Yeah, here. Yeah, in the past, for example, yeah, the value capture coming from the inside of the company, from supply chain. Yeah, and then now the value creation coming from the ecosystem. With the ecosystem, what I mean is we need to orchestrate the ecosystem rather than to bring in all the ecosystem to our hand. Yeah, because we used to control everything in our hand. The company is supposed to consider as something that's a closed system. Everything need to be inside the company. But now we have to orchestrate the ecosystem rather than bring in everything controlled, yeah, about acquire those companies inside to our company. Now we orchestrate them. Yeah, we orchestrate the ecosystem. Okay, and then how the value distributions, like I showed you before, the value. Oops. The value distributions, yeah, by using the mobilization and orchestration, like I showed you before, yeah, yeah. It changed the scale, the scope, and the speed, yeah, because the marginal cost of distributing sometimes, mostly in most industry, is zero, yeah, and there is some network effect, and the aggregation and modularity of across the markets is becoming bigger and bigger, and we can serve the market with a higher speed than before. So this is at least three things that need to be considered if you want to make your company more agile. So agile is not just about mindset, but it's also about the ecosystem, about the operating procedures, about the talent. Do you have the digital talent or not in your company? That's very important. Yeah, actually in Indonesia, we face short about 9 million digital talent right today. Yeah, that's why a bank in Singapore, DBS, yeah, they create their digital operating not in Singapore but in Hyderabad. Why? Because India has a lot of they have better supply of digital talent, yeah, in that country. The same like if you go to Silicon Valley, yeah, you can see that most the talent coming from India. India is one of the country that having good supply in digital talent right now. Yeah, so that's why creating new kind of operating procedure is very important. Again, yeah, agility is not about us. It's not about person. It's also about the ecosystem, about the operating model, about the talent, what kind of talent that you have.
Okay, that's very helpful. Are there any specific steps that a company should take to protect its employees? You mentioned the criticality of keeping digital resources. What can be done to reduce staff turnover? Yeah,
actually, we have to, first of all, of course, we need to create a new strategy. We have to have a new strategy, yeah? Very clear understanding about the strategy that make us different from the previous strategy, yeah? the current strategy with the new technology, new environment need to be rewrite. Yeah. So we call it rethinking the firm. Rethinking the firm is very important. That's one thing. Yeah. The second one is retraining our employee. Yeah. If you don't want to lose, yeah, you have to retrain. You have to retrain your people. Yeah, and then bring in more digital talent in company. If we don't have it, then we have to bridge. We have to bridge between the senior with the junior. Mostly digital technology is controlled by the junior. They got it from the high school, when we got it from our training. Yeah, so we need to bridge these kind of generations, these two generations. The previous generation with the millennials. It's very important. And then the third one is creating the ecosystem, bringing the ecosystem. Yeah, like what's happening with Prudential. Yeah, Prudential having the ecosystem with the financial technology support, even though it's small now. Yeah, but maybe it will be bigger one day. Maybe not this one, maybe the other one. Yeah, the financial technology, cloud technology, some other things. We need to work together to collaborate, so we can get the result. We can benefit of those kind of new management.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I was hoping at this point to switch to questions and answers, but we have a very shy audience today. We've only had one question, and you've already covered it in your presentation so far. So once again, if I could just encourage anyone who has a question, please submit it through the Q&A, or maybe I have one more question that I would like to ask. And maybe while I'm asking that, people can get their thinking hats on and see if they have any questions and answers they'd like to ask themselves. Professor, you've talked a lot about digitalization. There's a lot of pressure on companies to digitalize at the present time. Speaking as CFO, I know digitalization always has a cost as well as benefits. And I was very interested to read an article in the Financial Times a weekend or two ago, which talked about bionic duckweed. Which is when digitalization, it becomes a problem. It's sort of too aspirational, and it can't deliver benefits in the short run. Do you think there can ever be too much digitalization?
Yeah, Nick, I remember similar to what you say, similar to that things, that is a publications by the World Economic Forum. Yeah. It says that in the short run, many people will lose their job. Yeah, many people will lose their job. But at the same time, yeah, the companies will increase the number of the employee. Yeah, so it's about, say, 55% or 70% of the employee. Yeah. Companies, they say that companies will reduce about 50 to 70% of their employee. Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, they will recruit. It will increase about 80 to 90% of employee. So it means that they will replace it. They will change it from this one in this one. It's also the same like what you mentioned before. In the short run, the cost is very high in the short run. Yeah. But if we manage it carefully, if the country also having a good platform, a good national strategy. Yeah. Yesterday, I gave seminar. I was invited by the Ministry of Research and Innovations. Yeah. They just have a conference about artificial intelligence. Yeah. And I mentioned about it. If the nations doesn't have national strategy, yeah, it will be very, very difficult for us. Yeah. So that's why national strategy is important, as well as the strategy of each ministry, like in education, in Kominfo, yeah, in financial, and some other things. The same like we need the ecosystem of connectivity. Yeah, connectivity is not only fiber optic, but also satellites. Yeah, and some other kind of technology. You know that new technology is coming. Yeah, data science, data technology, and some other things, cloud computing, Internet of Things, a lot of things. Yeah, as well as the supply of labor from supply of employee from universities. That's very important to transform. So yes, in the short term, if we don't manage it carefully, if the nations doesn't have a strong plan, yeah, it's very difficult for us to follow. Yeah, but fortunately, yeah, yesterday I saw that the Ministry of Research and Innovation has shown us that they have that kind of national strategy, and based on that strategy, we can see that they will focus on 4 or 5 areas: health industry, education, smart city, and I forgot the other two. Maybe industry, maybe manufacturing. Yeah. So there are 5 areas that need to be considered in the strategy to be the focus of the priority of the government. Yeah. So yes, in the short term, yeah, because of the regulation is not clear yet. Yeah. Because of the national strategy that we don't know where the direction yet. Yeah. Some people know about that. Yeah. Because our understanding about the digital talent, about the technology that's available and need to buy and expensive, you know, the technology, and it's changing so fast. Yeah, sometimes it costly a lot, you know, and sometimes it costly because we hire or we collaborate with the wrong partner. That's possible too. Yeah, and then we have to adapt very quickly. Yeah. So yes, in the short term, there is some possibility that we will make a wrong decision. That's possible, yeah. But we need to move forward. We need to move forward. We need to invest. We need to create the new future rather than just waiting, yeah. So it's very important to adapt, to keep it relevant.
Thank you very much, Professor. I still see an absence of questions. So just to conclude, Professor, were there any final words of advice you give to the audience? I mean, primarily consisting of large companies, heads of HR, people heads in those companies. Is there anything else that you give them as practical advice to managing in these challenging times?
Okay. Again, what I want to say is agility is not only about mindset. It's not only about us. Yeah, agility is important because the old technology, the old ways of doing things has that's possible to create rigidity. Yeah, rigidity make us lose our competitiveness. That's why we need to transform our company. By doing the transformation, what I mean is we have to shift from something to be something, from controlling the value chain to be orchestrating the ecosystem. Yeah, it means that we have to adjust our operating model. The second one, we face the competition with the new startups, new companies that based on the operational expenditure rather than us. Like before, you know, we spend a lot in capital expenditure. And by having those kind of expenditure, especially if the infrastructure is not flexible yet, and then we were trapped in the capacity. Yeah, big capacity, but cannot produce something on those capacity. Yeah, what I mean, something that's very clear, something like you have the elevator in your buildings, yeah, or you ran a large size of capacity for your office. Yeah, in the past, the elevator or the escalator, what I mean, yeah, escalator can bring, say, that 16 people in just 2 minutes from the bottom to the top, yeah, to your floor, yeah. But now it can only bring, say, 9 people. The same like when you invest in an aircraft. You are an airline company. You have a A380 aircraft. It's supposed to be having 500 passengers, for example. But then because of the COVID, because you have to keep distance, you can only bring, say, 200 passengers. Yeah, we suffer of that kind of infrastructure. So flexible infrastructure is very important. Analyzing how do we compete with the new competition is very important. That coming by using the operational expenditure with the #MO. And then we have also to create new market. Disruptions, yeah, agility, usually needed, yeah, usually targeting new market. Who are the new market? In the year of 1990s, the new market is Russia, China, India, and some other country that was considered as a closed country, socialized, social nations. Yeah, but now the target of the disruptions is the low-end market, creating new market at the low end. Yeah, previously they were just they are not a consumer, but because of the disruptions, they can be targeted. They can have an access by having that kind of technology. Okay. And then we have to create our future skills rather than trap in yesterday's skills. We have to incorporate sharing economy, the sharing resources from other infrastructure. Yeah, please watch out the new law. Yeah, the omnibus law, yeah, just signed by the president. It's separated between those who own the infrastructure and those who operate the infrastructure. It means that the government will promote more sharing economy, yeah, rather than the previous kind of controlling economy. Yeah, and then you have to be careful with redundant things that make you rigid. Yeah, to be lean and collaborated with the ecosystem. Yeah, and finally, yeah. In order to incorporate the agility, we need to understand the environment, what's happening, the new business landscape, yeah, and then utilize the ecosystem. And the last one, we have to remember that technology moves so fast that then we can predict, yeah. So collaborations, sharing the risk, sharing the pain, as well as sharing the benefit is the key. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Professor. As is always the way with these things, as you were talking, you've inspired a couple of questions. So we'll still try and wrap up by 11:30, but we just have 2 questions if you could quickly give your thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one's a very interesting one. It's talking about a company where they've been trying to work agile for 2 years, but they haven't been able to progress as they would like. Do you have any sort of best practice suggestions or ways of how to help that company achieve its vision for agile, make it an actual way of working?
Yeah, Nick, like I mentioned before, agility is not the only thing. Yeah, agility is not the only thing. Yeah, technology is not only the only thing. Yeah, so we need to consider also other elements in order to create the benefit of this kind of new things. Yeah. So let me show you this one. Do you have these slides? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have to transform the DNA. Yeah, to be new DNA. DNA is very important. Yeah. I talked to my people in Telkom. Telkom just transformed the company. We use many, or not many, 3 or 4 big consulting company, global company, yeah, in helping us bringing new strategy and creating new future. Yeah, they present to us. We discuss about that, and then we show this to our minister, the shareholders. Yeah. The shareholders say that, okay, I agree with this, but then why do you so slow in creating this one? And then later on, I understand that when we transform the company to be digital company, the problem is the DNA. Actually, like telecom, yeah, a year ago, we realized that the DNA is telco DNA. Most of us having the telco DNA, telecommunication connectivity DNA, while the new strategy is in becoming digital company. That's why we need to transform the DNA. Yeah, this year our strategy to transform the DNA. So DNA is very important. Maybe the thing that you don't do yet is the DNA. Yeah, and then the things, the connectivity and some other things, the ecosystem. Yeah, like I mentioned before. And then maybe the way you manage the company is controlling. You need to change to be orchestrating, yeah, from integrated value chains to the ecosystem again, yeah, the skill again, yeah, and then maybe you don't target the new market, yeah. You know, if you look at the demand curve, most of incumbents, most of companies already been in the market, always targeted the mid-up segment, the mid-up segment. Why? Because we are amazed with the branding strategy, marketing strategy. The marketing strategy that we explore in the last 20 years is about branding. By promoting the brand, yeah, creating the company to be having the great brand, yeah, better brand, that's most company targeting the mid-up segment. But, you know, having this kind of technology, the society creating new market. The new market is not the branded segment, yeah, but the low-end segment. I can give you an example about the taxi transportation, yeah. The branded taxi, the taxi that we used to order is the branded one. Yeah, we buy the service, yeah, and it's okay for us, the mid-up segment, yeah. We go to the airport and pay 150 or 200,000 rupiah, that's fine, yeah. We get the service, safety, clean car, and some other things, yeah. But then, you know, the new kind of business, the startup, targeted the low end with only, say, 20,000, 30,000 rupiah of taxi transportation. They targeted the low-end segment, yeah, at the bottom. The same like financial technology. You know, that's in about 75 years from our independence, the financial sector targeted the mid-up segments, and there is only about 80 million of bank accounts in the country. 80 million, and most of the bank account belong to one person has about 3 or 4 bank accounts. Say, it's only about 25 million people having bank account, yeah, in Indonesia. But by having the new kind of technology, the bank can target the low-end segment. Yeah, those doesn't have the access to the financial sector, now can access it. Like like OJK asked Prudential, yeah, to do the financial literacy, yeah, inclusion, financial inclusion, inclusion to the low-end segment, yeah. So it's very important to target the new one and also using the new technology properly. Not only the machine, not only the technology, but you put it in a new strategy altogether.
Okay, thank you, Professor. That ties in nicely to the very last question, because I know we're running out of time. But the last question was, how can you give digitalization a good brand? How can you make sure that it's well perceived in a company? What can you do to make your employees feel positive about digitalization?
Oh, well, actually, our people is very adaptive, Nick, very adaptive, yeah. If we tell them, they can use the technology so quickly. But do we transform the company? Do we change the way we do? Yeah. Let me show you an example, very simple example. Yeah. When the government do the PSBB, Yeah, PSBB, what you call it in English?
Lockdown, the lockdown.
Yeah, we don't say it lockdown 100%, but you know, yeah, to some people working from home, yeah, and people talk about working from home, and many people agree that working from home. In fact, working from home is not good. Yeah, if you are working from home, you see that's what's happening with the health of your employee. They just sit there and in the meeting, normal meeting, we have 2 hours, and the company still do the same hours, 2 hours working, and the employee working from home. And you know what's happening at home? They just doing it beside their beds. Yeah, yeah, and they suffer because they are not moving. Yeah, they are not moving. So it's very important to make your people happier. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah. So how do we do it? Yeah. In my understanding, in today's world, yeah, those who play always control those who just work. Yeah, playing is very important. I see that Elon Musk is playing. He is not working. Elon Musk is playing. Mark Zuckerberg is playing. The same like we do, Pak James. You and I also playing. Yeah, I can see that you are so fun in explaining something. When we play, we never think that we work. We never think that a day a day in working. Yeah. So when I changed my mind, and then I said that okay, now I don't want to work from home. I can work from everywhere. So what's happening? Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I need to teach. In the PhD program at the University of Indonesia, and my staff told me that I cannot go to Karanganyar. Yeah, there was a mountain of Lawu. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, I said no, we can do that. I just called my telco company asking, do you have that kind of connectivity in that place? Okay, but we have it. The 4G is available there. Okay, I go there. Yeah. So you know what's happening? I was teaching from the mountain of Lawu. In front of me is a mountain, fresh air, and coffee and pisang goreng there. Yeah, coffee, pisang goreng was there. The mountain was there, and I taught there in the side of mountain. Yeah, so I changed my mind from working from home to be working from everywhere. Yeah, a week ago I was in Toraja when I heard Toraja has new airport. Yeah, previously from Makassar it takes about 9 hours to travel from Makassar to Toraja. It's a nice place.
Yeah, I've done that journey. It's a long journey.
You have to go there again. Yeah, by airplane it's only 40 minutes now. Yeah, every day there are 2 flights every day. So when I heard about it, I asked my wife, "Do you want to go with me? Let's go." But you have a schedule for teaching. I can teach from there. Yeah. So rather than working from home, I'm working everywhere right now. So it improves our productivity. Yeah. So changing DNA, changing the way we do is very important. I believe 50% of us will already been changed all permanently, then willing to come back as the old normal like before.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. I'm very
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Pak James.
Cheers. I'm very conscious we're running out of time, so I'll just say a few words to wrap up. I think the key message I took from you, Professor, is the importance of always moving forward and creating the new future. You've explained agility is one way of achieving that, but it's only part of the picture. You need a completely new DNA that incorporates technology. It includes thinking about messaging, helping people with change. I think you made some very interesting points about staff and employees. you mentioned about retraining them, you mentioned about protecting them, you mentioned particularly there at the end about making them happy and have a sense of play, not sticking with the old ways of working, but embracing the new ways of working and seeing the benefits that it can bring and not just the disadvantages or the disruption. I think we've talked before and you gave a great example there about your microphone, because when you realized you needed to do more of these online seminars, you brought yourself a great microphone, so now you can present very easily, and it's getting staff to make the new future easy to manage and easy to experience. There may of course be some costs in the short run, but the new ways of working will be worth it in the end. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Pak James. Take care.
And handing over to Dwi now to wrap up.
Okay, thank you Pak Nick Holder and Pak Rhenald Kasali for the virtual session. Thank you Bapak Ibu who are still with us here. This marks the closing of our event today. But we will have another EuroCham and Prudential Indonesia collaboration event by the end of this month with the title Global Talent Trends by Mercer on 25th of November. Please stay tuned for the invitation. We hope to see you again next time. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You stay safe. Bye-bye.